I've never been more excited to start a podcast.
Me either. I can't.
Oh my! What
Episode
episode
44.
number is this, Chris? Episode 44. Right. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
A little thing happened earlier this week. Now, we do record this, so it will get played at a later day. But a little thing happened earlier this week that not just took me and Chris by surprise, took the whole world a little bit by surprise. And
Absolutely.
because Chris and I are early risers, we saw it pretty early, didn't we? What
Mm.
was it, Chris? It was an early Christmas present. Tell
Yeah.
us, Chris, what happened? I'm excited. What happened?
Well, Wednesday morning, Australian time, Metallica released their new song, Luxy Turner,
Oh
and
my God.
announced the date for the new album of theirs called 72 Seasons, which is going to be the
Mm-hmm.
14th of April, 2023, 12 songs,
Mm-hmm.
all up.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, first single's been released. And I was in bed checking my phone like everyone does in the mornings now. You check your phone first up.
Yeah.
And I saw the news and I listened to it and I went headphones straight in so I couldn't be disturbed and listen to it. Didn't watch the video clip yet because I like to listen first before I watch the video because I always find videos do kind of give you a bit of they make it a little bit because it's visual. You kind of like fall in love with the visual more than the music. So
I think they can be a little distracting.
bit
I
distracted.
agree. I agree. Yeah. They
So I
should
listened
be
to the
two
song
separate
straight away
things.
and just fell in love. I loved it. I loved it. And your thoughts?
Oh, oh, um, I was at work because I start work very early in the morning, and I saw it came up on my emails, and I went, "What?" I went straight to YouTube and watched the video, of course,
Yep.
and I just was like, "Wow!" Like, how on earth do these guys keep doing this?
Yeah, I know.
You can get awfully cynical about a band like Metallica,
Hmm.
and then they just come out and literally hit you between the eyes with something as good as Lux Eterna. And the thing that I've got shivers down my spine
Yeah.
talking about it. James's vocal.
Yep. Yep.
Holy
Absolutely.
crap. When he belts out that chorus, Lux Eterna. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm not going to give you my full thing on it, but it's like wow. And Lars's drumming on it. We can be critical about Lars's drumming, yet I can't fault this track.
No.
I'm going to go into some things here because I'm a bit upset about some stuff, but
Hmm.
we'll go into it a bit later because I want to talk about all the good stuff I loved about this.
Yep.
And of course, the announcement of the album, 72 Seasons,
Yep.
uh, M72, the logo. They just did it all right without it being leaked.
I know.
That I know and then the tour.
Yep.
That's the big one is the tour.
Yep.
I'll get you to talk about that, Chris, because it looks to me like you said to me it's good that you sold your house recently because James and Lars are going to get a lot of your money, I think.
Uh, we'll see about that. But anyway, I've got something
I
to add as well.
Oh, cool. I mean, there's some big dollars. If you are a big Metallica fan, there are some big dollars.
Yeah, there
But
is.
I think unlike the whole latest thing with Bruce Springsteen and Taylor Swift and Ticketmaster and 5 grand tickets for just a seat, I think Metallica are offering an experience for
Yeah.
your money, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just blown away. And then I messaged you immediately, and then you was like, "I'm ahead of you," and I thought, "Of course you are." But the wonderful thing was, I messaged other friends of mine who were like, "What?" It was like took them
Yeah.
all by surprise. New Metallica, and I'm like, "Yeah." And the consensus across the board seems to be it's a fantastic song, and it's only 3.5 minutes, so
Yeah.
you can listen to it multiple times in a row.
I
You
did.
still feel like you're on that wonderful Metallica journey.
Mhm.
It's so thrashy,
It is. It is.
and it's so well recorded and produced and mixed, I think.
I agree.
Anyway, yep.
Yep.
And I'm like, gosh, you guys should not be producing music this good this late in your career. but there's only a handful. There's literally only a handful of people who are still producing that great quality of music. I'm going to put, like Metallica's in there, Nick Cave's in there, Bruce Springsteen's in there, Pearl Jam are in there. I think Tom Waits is in there. There's a handful of people who are just still making stuff that you don't sit there and go, "Oh, play me the old stuff." It's like,
Yeah,
no, I want to hear this new Metallica record.
yeah, yeah,
Give
absolutely.
me Give me
So,
the new Metallica record
yeah,
now.
I know it's a long wait till April, but anyway, let's start
Oh,
with the good things. Apart from the production's really great, and I'm actually really pleased they went away from Rick Rubin, even
oh,
for
so am
the last
I.
album. I don't remember off the top of my head the guy they're using to produce, but he's been there for. He was there for the Rick Rubin album, Death Magnetic, but he did all
Mm,
the engineering more so than what Rick Rubin.
mm,
He didn't do much either, but he kind of took over. The Hardwire Self Destruct album, Hardwire, he produced that, and it was so good. And then now I've used him again
mm.
now, so it's actually really good. I just can't remember his name off the hand. Um,
Off because it's not a name that rolls off the tongue
no,
like
it's
the Rick
not someone
Rubin
everyone
and,
most
and
likely
Bob
knows.
Rock, Kevin Shirley. You know these guys. These guys
Yeah,
that names are in your head. And I apologize. Well, I'm talking to my phone, and I could probably look on my phone and find out. So I apologize. Deep apologies
I'll find
that
out in a
we.
minute.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
Well,
I'll find it in a minute. So yeah, the sound's great. Everything about it was great. What the things I love and stood out first up was the artwork of the album. I have never seen, and we have never seen, a Metallica album so bright. It's
oh,
yellow
that's a
and black.
yeah.
It just hit me straight away. Wow, And they've been around for a long time, and all the albums are kind of have a kind of a darkish kind of feel. The
Mm,
first song, Lux Eterna, it actually is Spanish meaning eternal light. So it's like
yep.
they've taken the brightness of light and made it onto the front cover of the album. And I saw that and I went, that's amazing. It's so cool. It's so
Mm,
different to what they've done. It kind of probably shows you where they are in their life as well. Rumors had it that James was divorced, so maybe he's happier now and he's on a different path now. We don't know for sure, but that was a rumor a while back, and then obviously he went to rehab, so maybe he's better now. But to go this kind of angle and the brightness of the yellow, it's actually just made me go, I wonder what this album's going to be about. You know?
well, that's a good point. And you know what? I never even thought about the yellow and black. Yellow and black Striper, the yellow and
Yeah,
black
it is.
attack. That was the
I
name of
thought,
one of their records. Yeah, and yellow is actually, I mean, from a marketing perspective, yellow is considered one of the best colors for marketing.
really?
It's people know, yeah, it is. It's a common thing. But taking that away, I mean, obviously those things are contemplated, of course. If you read the synopsis of 72 Seasons, it seems to me like it's a concept record of a kind in that all four members, 72 seasons means 18 years times four, all
Yep.
four, 18, and their first 18 years of your life when I'm paraphrasing, but they're looking at how you're growing up. You're accepting what your parents tell you. You're rejecting what your parents tell you.
Yep.
You finding your own way in this world. That sounds to me a lot like they're doing therapy again.
Mm-hmm.
They probably might have Phil Tal back in the room again. They're
Yeah.
obviously all back, probably writing lyrics together. They're contributing their own life, and gosh, Rob Trujillo growing up in East Los Angeles, I'm sure as a Mexican, son of Mexican immigrants or whatever, that would be an interesting life. But James had an
Yeah.
interesting childhood. Lars had a very interesting childhood. Kirk's is very, probably straight California boy, probably, but you know, it's interesting that they're going to, as 60-year-old men, they're looking back at teen. I mean, I can barely remember what happened last week. So you're going back and you're looking at what you were as an up to your 18-year-old, and you're a 60-year-old man, and you're looking back and you're going, this is me then, and this is me now.
Yep.
It sounds to this is going to be huge. I'm really
It is
looking
going to
forward to it.
be
So,
huge.
yeah.
I'm just looking up the producer, but when you look at the album cover, obviously
Mm,
you see the cot and you see all this stuff on the ground. And I've
yep.
started, when I first saw that, I'm like, okay, I don't think those things are there accidentally. I reckon there's probably a
No.
reason behind everything. And the first thing I
Yep.
saw today when I was reading about different Metallica things, someone had posted an article now about the guitar that's on the ground. It's broken, the neck
Yep.
top, the bait, and they worked out that that guitar was a Fernandez, which is the very
Holy
first
crap.
Strat. Yeah, because it looks like a Strat. What is a Strat shape?
Mm.
But the head on it is a Fernandez, which is what Kirk used to play when he first started. He had um, the Flying V's,
Whoa.
but his first Strat was
Yeah.
actually Fernandez. So people are working out already what's this puzzle, on the cover. And it was a Fernandez guitar. And at the same time back then, Rob was actually sponsored by Fernandez and his basses. So I'm not saying that's the correct, what it actually is.
uh,
It might have been just chuck guitars down. Who knows? But I'm hoping it's got some little bits and pieces for everything.
oh,
As time goes on, we find out about it all.
you're looking into it, aren't you, Chris?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
You
when I
are
first
you are
saw it,
looking.
there will be a reason behind everything.
Oh, I think you're right, and I'm now going to go look at this cover now, and I'm sure that's the thing. We don't with digital, you don't look at covers so much anymore and pour over it. And geez, because I mean, all these artists now, yes, of course, they're going to release their music digitally, but a lot of them are pushing the vinyl. Buy the vinyl album. You'll get more for your money.
Yeah, yeah,
Vinyl is expensive still. They're charging a fair dollar for these vinyl copies
yeah.
of this album, but it's because it's a double too. Even though you say 12 songs, it's a double record, which makes me to think that the songs are quite long. And
Mhm.
also with the recording, they're going to take the compression out of it, which is such a relief in today's music world with everything so infinitely compressed
Yeah, yeah.
that I hope Metallica are kind of letting this music breathe. It does sound like it's breathing so much, this song. It doesn't feel like it's a cacophony of sound, which you kind of want, but you can hear everything going on in this Metallica record, and it really, yeah, it's a breath of fresh air. It's
It is.
it's wonderful to hear. I think I'm going to listen to it about 20 more times. I'm going away for a holiday this week, and I'm probably going to sit and put my headphones on and listen to some Metallica
Yep.
and Luxay Turner, and I'm going to look at
Well,
that cover and go,
I've been to
wait
the
a
Gold
minute.
Coast now twice. I went on Friday and I went yesterday afternoon,
Mm-hmm.
and I played one song all the way down and all the way back.
You're obsessive.
So
You are obsessive.
the Gold Coast, the first trip was down to Currumbin or Tweed Head, so that was a long trip. And then I came
That's a
back.
long drive.
Then yesterday was Coomera near your house. So that's a 3.5 or 3 minute and 40 second song on repeat for an hour. I've heard it a lot. So yeah,
And look at you. Look at you. Look at me. It's like I've heard songs this year, I've heard records this year, yet this is the one that has got me excited.
yeah, yeah.
It's got you
Absolutely.
excited. And this is nice. It's like, I remember when I've mentioned this many times, when we first started this podcast, you and I were talking about, what do we talk about? Rock and roll's a bit, yeah. So we'll
Yeah,
find themes per week. And then as the year went on, we found, there's news happening. Every week we were coming up with news. And now we're coming up with, well, there's two big things we're going to talk about here. But this first one is a Metallica single that doesn't make us go, oh God, wish they'd give it up. It's like we're
yeah,
sitting here going, more please,
yeah, yeah,
more please.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like this is great. I feel like Homer Simpson when I hear a song and I rock out. I go, yes, 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 yeah.
Producer's name is Greg Fidelman.
Oh, Greg Feidelman. Okay, thank you very much. Let's try and remember that name, Greg Feidelman. Greg, you've done a great job here on this. Can I bring up something that really has irked me about this song? Now, something has irked me, and it's not the song itself. It's the reactions of these so-called freaking Metallica fans.
Mm-hmm.
I am pissed off. I am of these guys who have come out and said, oh, Kirk's solo sucks. And there's a guy on YouTube going, I made Kirk's solo better. No, you didn't, man. You didn't. Okay. Kirk's solo is fine because he's in Metallica and he wrote that solo and that's the solo they went with. I'm sure they probably did several takes,
Yeah.
and that's the solo they went with. So this dickhead on YouTube say that I made Kirk's solo better. Eat a bag of them, man. Eat a bag of them. Okay.
Oh, there's always
Secondly,
going to be haters, man. There's always going to be haters.
why? Metallica, I know the Metallica fans are always like, I mean, ever since St. Anger, yeah, okay, yeah, we all know the drum sound on St. Anger's crap. But I've heard some people say now the kick drum sound on this sounds too tinny or something. Go away.
Yeah.
Okay. Just okay.
Yeah.
These guys have been doing this for years. Probably the only thing I think Justin Hawkins made a good point when his review of the song. He said it was probably a little too perfect.
Yeah.
He said it was probably a
Rick
little,
Beato said the same thing.
yeah, it's a little too perfect. It's like Metallica's meant to sound a little rough.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
care. I think it's great.
I don't
You
care,
touched
to be
on it
honest.
before too. James's vocals, with all this going on with singers at the moment, and they're
Oh, yep.
cracking, and their voices not doing very well, and not being able to sing the high notes and all that. To be able to hear this song the way he sings it, and I reckon he'll pull it off really well live. I'm just amazed
Oh,
at what he's doing. So credit to them all. I just think
mm.
they have got. They seem to be one of those bands who just keep getting better and better and better and better.
I remember
Yep.
Eddie Van Halen said in a quote many years ago. He was talking about people talked about him being like this master of the guitar and stuff, and he said, if you look back through cultures over the centuries, no one becomes a master at any musical until they're in their 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
And he said, and I think maybe Metallica will be those masters of metal. They will be the band, that they had their rough patch a few years ago. They just seem to be getting better. And as you said, I heard that vocal and heard him sing that vocal, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You're up there. You killed me there with James with that one. That is so good,
Yeah. Now
That
I'm
is so
hoping,
good.
because obviously 14th of April is quite far away, especially for someone who's dying to hear the next thing or see something, So I'm hoping they
Yeah.
start dropping, because Lars did say the other day on a radio show he was on that he can't believe that nothing was leaked, like you mentioned before. So
Yeah.
the fact that no one knew, pretty much, and the world dropped on the world, and everyone was like, "What?" Now
Yeah.
I'm just hoping for maybe another single down the track, but also some footage of them recording things, and making the songs together, put them together, and so we can get an understanding of what they did, how they did it, and all that kind of stuff. Talking about the artwork and everything. So I do look forward to that. I hope they drop a few breadcrumbs as we go. But yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. And I will be pre-ordering the album on vinyl when I can. And yeah,
Mhm.
the other thing about the
I
tour.
Oh yeah. Before we just ask the tour, can I just ask? Do you think they've actually finished the record, or do you reckon they're still tinkering with it?
I think it could be still tinkering, to be honest. They have their own press anyway for the vinyl, so they can do whatever they want whenever they want it. But I reckon that's why pre-ordering now, you won't get it till April anyway. It gives them enough time to do what they need to do. But it's a great taster for people. But yeah, we'll never know until it all comes out and they start talking about it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. All right, the tour. I'm going to leave. This is you, because this tour, the tour they've set up, it's pretty impressive.
It's a great concept. I thought the idea was amazing. So for those who don't know,
Yeah.
they've got this whole no repeat weekend, which is obviously a radio term. And
Radio Metallica, and then no repeat weekend.
so they're playing on a Friday and a Sunday, I believe, or sometimes it might be a Saturday or Sunday, but 2 nights. So no repeat. They're playing two completely different set lists on both nights, which is, for someone who's seen Metallica quite a few times, to go see a concert and then go see another one the day after or 2 days after and see a completely different set list away from all the usual ones, you're going to start getting some really deep songs, And I can't wait to see that. I'm looking forward to it. The idea of that is amazing. Plus, they have two bands opening the first night and two different bands on the second night. So that, to me, is, again, you're taking four bands out with them for a weekend away with Metallica playing. How good would that be as a band member of these guys?
Yeah.
Pantera is going to go, obviously, and so is Mammoth. So that would be really, really cool to go see those two bands for my personal taste. Um,
Hmm.
but you pay for one ticket and you get 2 nights, and that's
That's
also pretty
unbelievable.
incredible. So
That's unbelievable.
I didn't look into all the experiences because I'm not interested, to be honest. I've met them.
Okay.
I don't need to go see the experiences. I don't need to go and hold the guitar. I don't need to go and do this. That's just not interesting. I've got my money's going to go to my son and my family. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
um, I am looking forward to seeing them, but I'll probably sit at the back and watch the whole stage from a distance when the time comes. Which means I look like I am going to buy tickets to Metallica. I'm hoping to go to Seattle in August next year. I've already got a mate of mine who wants to
Oi.
come with me, and that show will be Pantera and Mammoth, who I just want to see Pantera, who we're talking about soon. I want to see them so bad. I don't, and because they're not touring in Australia until it looks like 2025, I'm a
That
bit
looks to be
worried
about
about
right. Yeah.
Pantera not being able to keep going. It's a pretty full-on actor,
Mm.
Pantera, and Phil's voice. So I'm trying to go as soon as I can to go to Vancouver and then drive down to Seattle. I've never been there. So I thought those two would be great. Um, it's not in stone yet, but I am going to go and buy tickets just in case I do go in August next year.
Wow.
So
Chris, you've dropped a bombshell on me there. So,
not spending money on
yes.
a ticket. I'll get the back row for it. Me and my mate will go to the back row and just watch it because we've been there. Because we're also going to get airfares and everything as well. So yeah, but I
Of
can't wait
course,
to
yes.
2025 to see Pantera and Metallica's new album. We haven't seen them here because they cancelled for ages. So a couple of years ago. So I want to go see
What was
them.
that? 2017, wasn't it?
The rehab one.
That tour. Yeah, yeah, 2017, I believe. It was Metallica and Slipknot were the support act,
Yeah, yeah,
and they cancelled that tour. I'm still I'm not upset. I just, as I've said before, I remember watching the videos from the European tour, and it just felt like to me they were going through the motions. It didn't feel like I
yeah.
was going to get something really special. But I am full of hope. But as you said, I've got, unless I'm willing to go overseas, 2025 is a long time to wait to
It
see
is
them.
a very long time, and like I said, I'd love to see Mammoth, being a Van Halen fan I am, but I also love to see
Mm.
Pantera fan I am. But to see Metallica this long, I just got to go see them now before Pantera fall apart or something happens to anybody, and I'm not waiting 2025. So
Okay,
it's a year away. So I might as well go and get tickets. The tickets are $90 US. So I'm
that's
gonna
all
book it.
right.
And if I don't go, that's it. I don't go. But at least I
Mm.
have it. So yeah, that's the plan anyway. And I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it already. But anyway, what else is there
Have
on
we
that?
talked enough about Metallica now?
Yeah, let's go
Have
on
we
to
have we talked
next.
enough? Yeah, let's do that because I was just wanting to know. Let me bring. I'm going to bring you into this one here, Chris. Pantera last night finally played their first show of the reunion tour. Now, footage leaked of the sound check
Yep.
of Cowboys from Hell.
Yep.
Funny, I had just watched the original video on YouTube the other day of Cowboys from Hell and just sat there and thought, it just kicks, this song just kicks. So I'm watching this, and it's pretty poorly because the guy, I don't know, didn't seem to have any idea how to hold his phone,
No.
but it's you still got the gist of it. Phil sounded fine, the band sounded fine, and then Chris,
Zach played guitar. And my thoughts on that video,
your reaction.
my reaction to that video was I was really like disappointed. I was like, oh no, my whole thought, everyone knows who watches this podcast that I'm not a fan of Zach's position in Pantera. I don't think he was the right choice, but I understand the mateships. That's why they got him. But
Mm-hmm.
completely different styles of guitar playing. And when I saw that clip the other day, I was not happy at all. I was actually really
What was
disappointed.
your
I was like,
what did you actually say, Chris? You actually said a comment which killed me. Or was it you wanted to strangle yourself or something
I
words to that
can't
effect.
remember.
Or
I can't remember. Was that on?
I think, I mean, I always say things like I'd rather eat my own eyelids or something like that, and you came up with an absolute corker that.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, it cracked me up.
Was
I
that in
can't remember
text
what it
or?
was. No, it was on Facebook.
Oh no! What have I said? Oh no!
Oh,
Oh no! What have I done?
oh, yeah. So,
Oh, yeah, here it is.
yeah, yeah. What did you
I
say?
didn't like what I heard from Zach, and the solo made me want to break my own neck. But
That's a good one.
let's
But
get let's put it in perspective, okay? So
okay.
this guy sitting there probably going, "I'm not meant to be recording this, but let's just cheat and do it and send it out to the world and be the first person to have." So he's got this phone in his hand. It's pretty. I don't know what kind of phone it was, but
It looks like he's trying to hide it. Looks like
he
he's
was
trying
trying
to
to hide it.
hide
It
the.
looked like, yeah. So he's
Yeah.
probably been told don't do it, and he's doing it. So it's very muffled. So after watching it and commenting to you about how bad it was, I thought anyway, the footage started coming out today, and I started watching all that footage.
Mm.
And my notes, well, being a singer in a band, especially something like Pantera, most people in the crowd are not musicians, or they won't be playing guitar or drums or whatever it is, but they want to
Mm.
hear the song the way they heard it on the album. And to me, the most important member of that band then would be the singer, because everybody sings the songs, the lyrics, and all that kind of stuff, no matter what. You know what I mean? And I
Mm.
think Phil's voice is on. I wouldn't say it's on point, but for the first show, I think he's going to get better and better and better. But if I went to that show the other day, I would have walked away happy with his voice. It was really good.
His singing was pretty good. I got to admit, I listened watching those videos. I got to admit, yes, his
I was
singing was
really
pretty.
relieved to hear him doing what he did, and
Yeah,
I did it. He did it
I got
really
a
well.
feeling.
Yep,
Yeah. I got a feeling. Listening to the opening song, which was a new level. They
yep,
opened with that. Listening to that, it seemed to me they were a little nervous because it was really out of time in parts.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It was, yeah, it was really, and I thought, yeah, they're going too fast here, or they're going to, which there might have been some nerves. I mean, when you think about it, there is a high expectation here on this
very
one.
high expectation, very high.
Yeah, and and I suppose they felt it a bit.
Yeah,
They were still, they're doing their thing. They'll probably warm into it, as you said. I think they've only done 2 weeks of rehearsals.
yeah,
So it isn't a long time to really nail those grooves that was so embedded in that in Pantera. But is what you said though, listening to Zach's solo, because I actually didn't really listen to it. I just sort of saw the opening of that and I said, oh, this video is annoying me. The way the guy was sort of covering it up. And so I just sort of told you, oh, here it is. And then you said, oh, that's solo. I thought, oh, righto. I went back and listened to the solo and I kind of went, it's a Zach Wild solo.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't a Dimebag Daryl solo. It was a Zach Wild solo. And to me, it distracted. I was right with you. It was distracting from the band. Um, I understand the mateship and everything. Let's see how these go. But as I said the other day, I was listening to Cowboys from Hell solo, and yeah, the way Dimebag has that distinct style and the way he rode the whammy bar and his fingers and everything like that. And because Zach plays, it was a Zach Wild solo in the middle of a Pantera song. So I was with you on that. I really was. I was
But
with you. On
remember,
that part.
that was
Yes.
from the first footage we got.
Yep. True. True. True.
So talking about the new stuff that's out now, I watched like 6 or 7 songs, and
Yep.
the voice was great. The sound was
Yep.
amazing. So I started going, okay, let's listen to Zach. And after listening to Zach play, and I'm listening to, let's talk about 5 minutes alone. I think Zach's playing on 5 minutes alone was on point. You would walk away
Ah.
going, that was really good for Zach. The rhythm side of
Mm.
his stuff is actually, from all the songs I heard, was actually really, really good. He's playing,
Yes.
he's playing the guitar with a whammy bar, so he's doing the squeals, he's doing the harmonics and pitch harmonics and everything. So he's getting to the point where he knows what he's doing. It's some of his solos are still not the greatest, but again, I think over time he'll build on that.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised at how well he did.
Fair enough. And this is what? How does this says? I was just complaining before about the Metallica fans, and look at us assessing Zach Wild.
Yeah,
The guy's been doing this.
I know.
Who are we to tell Zach Wild how to play the guitar? Honestly,
No,
I mean, like we.
I don't tell him to play guitar, how to play guitar. I
Mm,
just want the closest to the original, and
yep.
that's my concern. And I just didn't think he would be the one who could do it. Well, rhythm, he's done it, I think, very well. They sounded
Mm,
amazing. They'll get better with time. He will get better with time.
mm.
But his solos weren't probably the best, but I would listen to that solo if I was standing there and go, that was great. Thank you. He
I
can never,
I get
ever, ever, ever play like Dime. That's just the way it does it.
no.
So would I rather have someone getting close to it as best I can? Yes. And my point on that would be, out of all the footage I saw, what do you think the best thing was that I saw?
Phil's vocals, of course.
No, I would have
Yeah.
heard
No.
that and
What?
didn't see it. What's the best
Oh,
thing I saw?
the Pantera logo.
Absolutely. To see that Pantera logo up on stage again, we've discussed it before. I was happy they're coming back. Two original members, great. But to see that Pantera word up on top of the screen on the backstage there, a new generation's going to follow. The music's alive again. It's been 20 years. Come on, let's just keep going with it. And they go
Yeah.
best they can. They did a great tribute to the brothers as well. They
But
opened
yes,
up
they do.
with a
Yep.
bit of Cemetery Gates and then went straight in. They didn't play it. They just had the recording, I believe, and then they went into Planet Caravan. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's all about them. They're honouring their brothers. But overall, to see Pantera, it gave me chills just looking at that,
Ooh.
going, "Oh my goodness, they're back." Yes, we know
Well,
the circumstances.
it's I remember when this first got this and you and I started discussing it, I was the one who was a bit kind of oh, you know, you were excited. I wasn't
Yeah,
terribly,
yeah,
but I got to admit, if I was in that crowd watching that, because I'll stand by, Pantera is still one of the best bands I've ever seen live.
yeah.
They're still one of the greatest live acts I've ever seen. And if I stood there watching that and hearing that, I would probably just be like, yes, this is great.
It's the music.
This,
It's
it's
the
the
music.
music.
And you have to remember
Yep.
too, those two brothers were part of Pantera. They're gone now, but they also started a band called Damage Plan that never really took off.
That's
So
true.
it's those four in Pantera that made Pantera and the music. It's not just the two. They pretty wrote a lot of
Yes.
it, but they couldn't continue it on after without Phil and without
No,
Rex. So
no.
Pantera has their own legacy, and that's why they're doing what they're doing. And it's going to work for so many young people to go, "What the hell is this? How great is this?" Blah blah blah. And it's just going to. I think it's the perfect thing they're doing, and I'm really happy to say, and I'll eat my words. Zach, I reckon, pulled off enough to go. Yep, I had a great concert. You know what I mean? Um,
Well, Chris, there's an endorsement. So we got Metallica and Pantera, two of the all-time mighty metal
oh,
acts.
absolutely.
They're back.
Go go
They're
soon,
back,
buddy. But
baby.
before we do,
Oh,
you wanted to touch base quickly on a story that popped up recently about Mick Mars. So you can take over that one.
we talked about recently about how everyone knows that John Five is now taken over from Mick Mars. Motley Crue announced that Mick has retired from live touring. Now, John Corabi, the vocalist who stayed for one album, very, very controversial and weird circumstances for them, he has come out and said, no, I don't believe that at all. I believe Mick was pushed.
Yeah.
And I had, and you, what, I don't know what you think about it. There's probably a little bit of truth to that. There's probably, I reckon, probably what might have come down to is Mick is probably in pain. He's probably coming off stage every night in pain. And it wouldn't surprise me if the guy said to him, Mick, you can't keep doing this. Okay. He's probably going, yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. It's like, no, Mick, you can't. You're in pain. Please, we'll just retire gracefully. No one will hate you for it, or anything like that. If that's what he means by being pushed, I got no problem with that whatsoever.
Hmm.
It's still, I mean, God, I can't complain about John Five. I love him as a guitarist. He's going to be great with the band. But the whole point of that whole end tour and those contracts they signed was so that Motley Crue wouldn't come out with different band members and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
that's true.
And I'm really still in that. It's great that they want to do it with John Five, but I just wish they would have just. I understand that why they came back, but yeah, it's not Motley Crue without Mick. But I can understand that, as a caring friend, and if they are sort of talking to each other in that capacity, then you would be doing that, mate. You are in trouble. You are struggling. And they probably don't want to see Mick get on the booze and the drugs again to calm the pain.
Yeah, yeah.
They probably don't,
Um,
you know?
John Corabi also said that when he was in Motley Crue and they recorded their album Motley Crue in 1994 or 93, they recorded,
94,
released in
94.
94. He was already saying, he said the other day that he was already hearing from people then, the other band members, they would like to replace Mick back then already. So
Yes.
if that's the case, and they never got rid of him, then you got to wonder why that's a long time ago. Why did they never get rid of him after all that time of talking about it already back then? So I think it is a whole thing about it would most likely be he can't tour because of his health issues. Um, they've had different writers for so long now, and different albums have had different guitar players. John Five being one of them, writing songs for him. So yeah, just let's get our mate. Let's let our mate have a rest. You know.
Yeah. He's done
And,
enough.
yeah, it's sad that they came back from the contract idea because I thought that was really a good thing. Not really believing they'd ever do that anyway, but they didn't. But it got them talking about it and made their sales go really high. And I fell for it and got a ticket, but would have gone anyway. But yeah, I just
It was
think
the Dirt movie. No one thought the Dirt movie was going to be as popular as it was. That's
no,
what
that's true.
started the whole thing.
Yeah,
The whole new. My kids got into Motley Crue through that movie.
oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah. So that's where it was. As Nikki said, it was all of a sudden all these new fans came up and were like, "Oh, guys don't tour anymore. Why not?"
Yeah, no, I'd be interested to see if they ever write another album and who gets credit for the writing of the songs. If Mick is even involved, we'll only find out as time goes on. But yeah, let's wrap it up, man.
What a show!
Show.
What's going to happen next week or next fortnight? How are we going to top this?
Hopefully, some breadcrumbs have been following, and more footage of
Metallica released 2 albums.
But anyway, thank you for all the viewers watching, and please like and subscribe. Go on to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and subscribe on those, please.
The Get On It this week is the Get On It. Don't forget to look at it. I did Stormfront for John. John or Jim? Jim. For Jim, I did Stormfront. You suck, Jim, but I did it. So you'll have to check it out.
All right, people. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.